Another interesting tip in my series, Micro Tips. Now, just to recap, in case any of you haven't seen the other ones, they are not just about easy, quick to do, reheat up stuff in the microwave. Please forget about all that. This is just interesting and fun things that you can do in the microwave, which are actually, in my view, better than the traditional way of doing them. So let's get straight on to what I'm going to make. I'm going to make some nice sweet things, and these are called chocolate apricots and florentines. And here they are, the little small pieces. They are wonderful for serving after dinner, and you can give them away or you can eat them, but I'm going to show you now how to make them. So to start with, we're going to do chocolate apricots. Now, the first thing we need is ordinary apricots, dried apricots. And dried apricots come in two kinds. They come soft or they come much firmer and harder. And I would very strongly recommend that you go for the bendy ones that are absolutely much more delicious, this kind of thing. But if you can't find them and you can only find the hard ones, don't worry, because I'm going to tell you what to do with those afterwards. Now, you just need two things. You need chocolate and you need apricots for this. Now, I'm using ordinary supermarket chocolate, and what it's called is Cook's Belgian dark chocolate or Cook's Belgian milk chocolate. And you can get these good chocolates from most supermarkets, and the milk one is slightly sweeter, but otherwise they're both really delicious, and you can choose whichever one you want to make. So here we go. I have already melted a small pot of plain chocolate and another one of milk chocolate. And what I want to tell you is that it's really, really quick. And I strongly recommend that you make it in small quantities. You don't get yourself a giant bowl and put in half a pack of chocolate. Just to try it out, do a small amount. And the other thing to remember is that chocolate can possibly burn. The only way it can burn in the microwave is to do it too long. So as with all recommendations for cooking in the microwave, the main thing is start small and get longer. In terms of cooking, most cooking is done in minutes and hours. You take hours to roast something, you take minutes to boil something. But in the microwave, it's seconds and minutes. So I would always start with 30 seconds, 1 minute. So when you're dealing with small amounts like I'm going to show you, just start with a small amount. You can always add it on, but don't do it too much because it might burn. So here we are, we're ready to go. This is so easy. I've just got a small little tray here and I put on it some baking paper. And so let's get the spoon of this out of the way for the moment. And then all you need to do is, let's move that one there. I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing. You take an apricot and you are just going to dip the bottom half of it into the chocolate and whirl it around so that it's not dripping too much. Lay it onto the paper and you just continue like that. There we are. Anybody can do this. Children can do it. I believe a 4-year-old could do this, but it has a taste which is something that almost everybody would enjoy. Adults, children, everybody. And it's absolutely lovely with a glass of mint tea or with coffee, anything. So there are the chocolate apricots. And you see how easy it is, and all you need to do is put it in the fridge. Now it'll take between half an hour or a bit more so that it firms up and gets hard, and then you lift them off because they will just peel off the paper as easily as anything. Now to store them, you put them into a container like I did before. And here are the ones that I've had in the container, straight out of the freezer. You can eat them straight from the freezer, but I would recommend that you just keep them in the fridge until you're ready to serve them. But almost as soon as you take them out, they will be ready to eat, and you can't really leave them around for 10 minutes because they might melt. So now on to the next one. This is the dark chocolate, and I'm going to make florentines. Florentines were a kind of sweet which had a layer of chocolate and maybe a layer of biscuit as well, and then on top of it all kinds of dried fruits and things. Now I'm simplifying it because I'm just making it with 3 different things, and what I'm using is 2 kinds of raisins and pistachio nuts. Now we need a tray for this as well because we're going to do it exactly the same way. I have melted this amount of chocolate, which is like, let's see how much it is, about maybe 1.5 lines of this going into this small pot. And you can see that it is brilliantly creamy. It is really, really nice. And you can do milk chocolate as well. So we can actually put some milk chocolate as well. So what I'm going to do is make some small circles first of all. And the circles are on here. Let's get the things out of the way in front of it, so I hope you'll be able to see. So I'll do a couple of milk ones and then a couple of the dark ones. There we are. You do want to make sure that the chocolate is melted, because I have to tell you, this seems to me that I could have melted it a little bit more, but don't worry about it. Now the dark one. This one is definitely softer, and so we just make some nice circles with it. I think we'll do 2 or 3, see how many we can get on the paper. One thing to remember is that it shouldn't be that thin, because if it's thin enough to see through it, then it's too thin because they're just going to crack. So there we are. We are ready with the chocolate circles. There they are. Now we're ready to put the sultanas on. Now I want to tell you that when we were talking about apricots, we said that we could have apricots which were hard or soft. Now the way to soften fruit is by adding a tiny bit of water or alcohol to it. Now these are golden sultanas. They say golden, they are sort of yellowy colour, but they are very nice. The others are ordinary raisins, and actually I can tell you they taste more or less the same. But I've chosen these, and you will see why, because of the colours. I also have pistachio nuts. These are shelled pistachios, not tremendously pretty as they are. They've got sort of purpley green on the outside, but when you cut them inside, they are a lovely green colour. So now, how to make these slightly dried ones into something slightly softer? Now, I really, really do wish that we had feel television, because if we did, I could let you feel some of these and you could see that they are just softer and nicer than the absolute dried ones, because what I did was I put them in one of my small pots, put a small amount of them in, you can see how many, just a lot, not a huge amount, put enough water to just about cover them, not more, and then start cooking them for 30 seconds or maybe a little bit more, and they'll start to plump up. Now the interesting thing about this, and I'll tell you while I start to put the raisins and things onto the chocolate, is that many recipes that require plumped up dried fruit, what they say is soak it for 5 hours. Now, I don't believe in things for 5 hours because I've got a lot of other things I like to be doing, and I think you might as well. And so what I'm telling you now is a trick for doing dried fruits that takes seconds or minutes, and just forget about the hours. You don't ever need to do it. The other thing is, if you don't want to use water, you can use a little bit of liqueur. And what I would suggest is, I would put with the dried sultanas and things, I'd put some Cointreau or rum or any other dessert liqueur that you like And then when you taste them, you'll think, oh, that is really yummy, wonderful. So now we've got to the pistachio stage. Now these have to be cut. You just need to take a knife and cut it. Now I'm not going to do it like this because this is the worst way of getting yourself a nice cut, and then you have to need an elastoplast or something to deal with it. So I'm not going to do it like that. I'm just going to show you that I have already cut up the pistachios. Now, as I said before, they're purple on one side and pale green on the other. And you definitely want the green side upwards. So we just pop them all on, as many as you can get on, because you want the chocolate to be quite full up with all the dried raisins and things. And this takes, as you can see, a matter of minutes. It's very, very quick. So it's not one of those things that you're going to say, oh, I don't have time to do this. You do have time, and when you've done it, you will be so pleased. So if any of you are thinking, what am I going to do with these things? And here we have them. We have our finished florentines all ready to go in the fridge. So what are we going to do with them? You're going to give them away. I think that the best thing to do is to give them away to somebody who will really, really enjoy them. And if you don't want to do that, keep them and eat them yourself. And then any day when you're having a cup of coffee or something, and you're on your own, or you're with one other person, you can say, shall we get one of those? And they are really nice. So I do hope you like them, and if you do, please pass the idea on to somebody else. And also, if you subscribe by pressing the subscribe button on my YouTube channel, you will get more information about what I'm doing. So thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.